Wanted to make an announcement video here about an off-grid seminar. I made a mention of this in one of my live streams and some people kind of responded to it, but didn't really get into a lot of details. Wrote up the notes for it probably a little over a year ago, and it's going to be 14 parts, so it would be a lot of work. If I do it 5 days a week, it's going to be basically nearly 3 weeks that it'll take me. Probably won't be able to do it every day. We get a lot of snow here. We've actually had about 4 feet of snow in the last month, and I'll show you the proof of that here in a minute. But it's going to be a huge amount of work, but I feel that it's a very important subject to get out there, because technology is the way that the Big Brother system is using to control people, and the best way to get away from that is the off-grid system, being self-reliant. And you can use off-grid technologies, by the way, and I shouldn't say technologies, but D-technology, whatever you want to call it. You can use those things actually if you're on-grid. There are techniques that you can use. We did that a lot growing up. We had a wood stove. We lived back in the woods. We cooked on the wood stove. We did a lot of things when the power went out, and the power went out frequently when I was a boy. So we got used to it, and growing up we went to my uncle's cabin, his hunting cabin, and it was no electricity, it was off-grid, so I knew how things worked and whatever else, and got real familiar with outhouses at a young age. Central America, down in the jungles of Costa Rica and Honduras, not so much. Honduras wasn't really the jungles, it was a small village that we stayed in. Again, no electricity, the off-grid thing, learning how they do it there. Been out west, Montana, northwest Montana. My brother had an off-grid cabin that he built. So I've been around, up in Alaska as well. I've been around, seen a lot of different off-grid things, studied it, read a lot of books on it. We've experimented for years with it. What you see here beside me, this is our old school bus. We actually called it our scoochin', our school bus kitchen. We used it to cook in for about 2 years, and I'll talk about that in this study too, but you can see there on the front how much snow we've been getting, and that's what just stays there. The rest falls off, so but it's actually got solar on the top there. You can see where the wires are going in there through the window. So there's a lot of things we've learned over the years, and I'd like to share those things. So just announcing that. I don't know when I'm going to get started. Of course, it'll be announced this day or whatever else, but just wanted to put together a quick video to explain about it. Give me your thoughts. What are your thoughts on the whole thing? It's the one thing that's a little bit stressful for me is it's not exactly a ministry type of a thing. I mean, I'm going to be tying some scriptures into it, but I don't know. We'll just have to see how the Lord provides throughout the whole process, because looking at 3 weeks of work ahead of me, and the possibility of there's no pay at all because I'm not monetized here on YouTube, that's been a big concern of mine. That's why I've not brought it out yet. I actually started to record it for an offline video, in other words, bring it out on an external hard drive or some other kind of a thing like that, and it was just too much work. It's so much work. And so I'm thinking, well, if I do it live, that cuts out the editing process, it cuts out the rendering on my computer and everything, and I can just show pictures online and whatever else and tell personal experiences and go through all of my notes I've written. Probably took me about 2 or 3 weeks to write the notes out for the thing. I mean, it's going to be a big study, cover a lot of different subjects, and like I said, it'll be for anybody. Off-gridders that have a lot of experience, you might learn some things. Again, I'm looking forward to hearing people's comments. I might learn some things from you, some good suggestions and things. If you are, even if you're living in the city someplace, you can still learn what to do if the power goes out. And a lot of the off-grid channels here on YouTube, there are some real ones out there. There's some guys that I watch, and yeah, they know. They've had the hunting camp experience, and they understand. They do it the right way. And then there's some others that are just goofballs, and building huge mansions off-grid, and how do we run a dishwasher off of solar power or something? And you get these guys, and they got sleazy wives and whatever else, and that's how they get their views. That's not what we're talking about. Okay, that's not off-grid. That's somebody that's seeing a popular style of video, genre of video, and they're saying, hey, I can make money here by getting my wife to, prostitute herself. That's not off-grid. Okay, no, it's not. So I want to get out the information. I'm a preacher first and foremost, but I've spent a lot of time in my life with a lot of other things other than just preaching. The disciples of Jesus were fishermen, and they were expert fishermen. Jesus was a carpenter for 30 years. So there's other things that you need to learn. I get young men and they write me, and Brother Brian, how do I go into ministry? Don't. Spend most of your life doing different jobs and working this and whatever. I mean, I've worked on a train as a cook. I've built boats. I've worked in wood turning, somewhat in furniture making. I've worked in cabinet making. I worked in the logging industry. I mean, I've done a lot of different things. I didn't really go into any kind of full-time ministry till I was about the time that Jesus was, about 30 years old. And I've learned a lot in that time. And I'd like to share some of that, to just kind of encourage the young men out there. You need to learn some other things. Certainly, read the Bible, study the Bible. Absolutely. That's important. But there's some things that you can learn, talents and skills that you can learn in life that will actually really sort of round out your knowledge of the scriptures. It'll make more sense to you. And that's why the Lord didn't go into ministry right away. I mean, there's even God manifest in the flesh didn't say, I'm just a little boy. He's a little boy in the temple, and he's asking the doctors of the law questions and whatever else, and they're just astounded at his knowledge. Well, why didn't he go into ministry right then? Because he was too young. Well, that's a big reason why I want to do the off-grid seminar, to encourage the young men out there. Hey, you need to learn some other things. I am not just some kind of a YouTube preacher that doesn't know anything else. Okay, and that's a nice thing too. I just have to say this, different people have, attacked me over the years. Why don't you go out and get a job and everything else? Why don't you actually try to live in a cheap, sustainable way? Oh, that's right, you can't. Well, I can. And so I'm able to save money where you people have to spend a huge amount of money. And we can live dirt cheap, where most people, their cost of living is just astronomical. And they're so deep in debt that they'll never get out of it. We're not that way. And that took a long time, a lot of experience. So I'd like to share that. So, like I said, just keep an eye out. It won't be for a little while yet. Maybe another week or two. I don't know. I have some sermons I need to do today. Had to cut my hair. Done here without electricity. Battery power. Is what we did. But I did my son's hair too. That's another whole other issue. But in terms of, you don't need to go to a barber. It's another way to save money for guys. And if you're a woman, will just let your hair grow long, like the Bible says to do. So a lot more I could say about that too, in terms of hair care for off-gridders or people that are on grid that want to do things more to make more sense. So, but we'll look forward to doing this thing, and like I said, I think it's very important to get it out. And but one thing I have to say, and that is, for security reasons, I have to be careful with some of what I say. I'm not going to be like the idiot king there in the Old Testament that, the king of Babylon comes along, and this king of Israel, and he's going, hey, come and look at all of our riches, look at all the nice stuff, that we have. I'm not doing that. I see survival prepper guys on YouTube, and they'll, let me show you what I've stocked up. And I just think, yeah, duh. Let me show you my arsenal of guns and ammo. I'll show you everything I own. And then those same guys will talk about, the corrupt government wants to register our guns. Well, you just showed everything you had. You kind of just did the job for them. So, but yeah, we'll be doing the off-grid seminar thing coming up here. So I would appreciate people praying about that and just saying, about just the Lord helping me to do it. And I hope that there's people that will be thankful for the time and will donate to the ministry, because there's no other way I'm going to make any money off of this. And, 3 weeks worth of work. I don't know very many guys that would do 3 weeks worth of work and not have any income for that. So, but I do these things out of charity. That's why I do it. All right. We've been out here, we've experimented, we've tried things. That was an experiment right there, and it worked okay, but there were some big failures, and I will share those. All right. We do a lot of experimentation. But that is going to be it. And please do keep us in your prayers, and we will see you when the off-grid seminar comes out. And till then, stay in the Word of God, and stay strong. That's going to be it.